Hello, I'm Erwan, developer of Fractal Fly, and today I'll be showing you what's new in this first big update. Well, let's begin. And here we are in Chaos Maze. This Fractal, for the ones who have already used Fractal Fly before the update, won't see much difference for the moment. But if we turn ahead, then we'll see a difference. Before the update here, it was all empty, an empty blue sky. Now we have copies of the fractal all around us. This means that the fractal that we see here, we will see it as a copy everywhere around us. So if we move away from where we were, then we can wander as we want, freely between the copies. Each copy so far is identical, but I might in the future try to get subtle differences between each copy. Maybe it will work or not, I don't know yet. We are going to get closer to one of the fractals. Here we can see that the fractal gets more and more detailed as we get closer. And here with the VR controllers we can get like a size reference. This way you can see when I put them through the fractal how tall we are. In fact, we have become smaller. When we were outside, we were at the normal size, and there we are shrunk to a millimeter. And this is a big new thing of this update, because before we were at a constant scale, but now you can zoom in and out. Though you can zoom in too deep, because the more we zoom in, the more it will require deep calculation and more precise numbers, and I could not technically make it work in real time. In other words, the result would have been more like a slideshow than a VR experience. So I had to make trade-offs, and the balance was to be able to zoom in a little, but not too much. Then let's fly around in the fractal. So here we are on a scale that is really small, as we are actually wandering in a single one of the cubes. Crossing from side to side will take time, but if we were outside, we would have been taller, and therefore we could get past a single cube in no time. So now we're gonna get out of this fractal, and we're then going to see a very small detail elsewhere, and it will give us an idea of the computing accuracy issues. And here we get out. Now we're gonna see another copy. We'll get closer and go see it in details. And when we will approach very close, we get big pixels like Minecraft. And it's a precision limit of numbers I use and depth of calculation that will lead to this result. Well, you can see it's very pixelated, looks like Minecraft. But in fact, if we could increase the accuracy of calculations and the number of iterations, we would then be able to dive deeper into the shape. But in that current state, we hit the limit. If I now zoom out, you can see that we were actually focused on a very small detail. And that's it for this first fractal, Chaos Maze. Now we are going to see other fractals. And here we are in Bubble Cave. So compared to before the update, I pushed a bit the detail level, so there are a few more than before. So here, if we zoom, we can take a look at the details. And if we zoom out, then we have that change of scale. But I was a bit in a dead end for this fractal regarding scale capabilities, because there, if we look up, we can see that the ceiling is actually quite close. And it's an issue as I wasn't able to zoom out as much as I needed. And furthermore, this fractal has no end, so I couldn't do the same repeating trick as I did with Chaos Maze. But I eventually stumbled on something cool while tweaking the parameters. I actually got an interesting result when morphing the fractal. So it was already possible to do morphing before, but it's a result of the morphing which is now different for this fractal. So let's take a look. And it actually has changed a lot. I would tend to say that rather than Bubble Cave, we could now call it Pineapple Cave. It looks really very different from the fractal without morphing. And there we have a lot more space under the ceiling. So now we're going to zoom in and focus on one of the shapes. We'll go, for example, in front of us, there. So we'll get closer, and then we'll be able to get in. We couldn't do this quite much before, but now we can cross the surface, and regardless to be inside or outside, there is no longer any difference. Before the update, when we crossed the surface, we end up with a special sepia render. Now inside or outside, it's all the same, and it allows us to freely explore every bit of the fractals. So we kept diving in, and here we can see that we are getting to the limits of calculation. It gets all pixelated. So there we cannot zoom anymore. So now we are going to leave this first sphere. We will zoom out. There we continue. Here we are. This way we saw the change of scale. And now why not visit the ceiling? While we are climbing, I like to tell you that I'm all alone developing Fractal Fly. It's not necessarily easy to develop it and at the same time communicate about it. And if you ever want to help me and support Fractal Fly, the best thing you can do is to communicate around you about Fractal Fly. Talk about it around you or share this video. Please help me promote it. It will really be of a great help, because it's not easy to be visible on the web. So if you want to help me, please talk about it around you. Thanks a lot. Okay, we now have reached the ceiling. We can see below and we are actually very high. So we can get a bit dizzy sometimes, but it's okay. There is no danger, we are not going to fall, so that's fine. Then we can transform back again the fractal as it was before. And here we are back to the initial shape. Well, that's it for Bubble Cave. Now let's go see another one. We are going to see Alien City. And here we are. There I also increased a bit the detail level compared to before the update. And as this fractal has a limit, I was also able to use a repeating pattern. We can see it by moving away from the floor. And now we can see the patterns, but it's not like in Chaos Maze where the cubes were far apart from each other. There, I rather choose to bring them close together to make like a ground, and I also did it on the ceiling. You can see it there. So we climbed quite high. Let's go back down, and we are going to see some more details. We can get away and zoom out. And let's now take a look upstairs. And here we are at the top. Well, we are very high. And we can go into the void, but we won't fall. And that's it for Alien City. Now let's move on to a much more colorful fractal. We'll go to see the latest one. It's going to be Undersea Forest. And here we are in Undersea Forest. So, yet what we can see compared to before the update is that on Undersea Forest we have a much richer image than before. Especially the background that we see here was not there before. It was previously made of a solid blue color, and now we get to see a lot more things. So we have a far more filled image than before. So we're going to take a walk in the fractal. It's very colorful. I actually called it Undersea Forest because it reminds me of the seabed, the corals, the algae. And there we'll be able to move from the inside to the outside of the fractal. Before there was this sepia spatial rendering, but there isn't anymore. So I was able to use this new possibility. We'll cross the surface and we're going to see what there's on the other side. And here we are. I just crossed the surface and now we are on the outside. And I can see the other copies of the fractal. In fact, we were here when we get out. And now if I zoom out, we can better see where we were. We were in the lower part, under the cap, in the spherical part. And then the same way we had with the other repeating fractals, we can walk from one copy to another. We can go up, and here we are no longer at the same scale than earlier at the very beginning when we were inside. Here we are really at a maximum size where you can walk from shape to shape and then decide where you want to get. Here, for example, we can try to get in the cap, the top part. Yet outside it's quite pretty. We'll go inside. So where are we going? Let's go here. And we are back inside. So we've been scaled down imperceptibly. It's unduled automatically. And we're in the cap. So we are very small. The cap we saw previously was not very large. But now it seems huge to us. We can wander in it as now we're tiny. So please also note that for that video about Fractal Fly, I'm using a VR headset, but it also works without it. You can play on a simple screen without the need of a VR device. So if you want to try it, it's free to download and you can try it whether or not you have a VR headset. All we need is a decent graphic card. And it's pretty much it regarding for fractals. I hope you now got a better idea of what is Fractal Fly and this update. So thank you for watching this video, and if you want to be notified when a new video comes out, subscribe to the channel, because there will be new videos in the future each time there will be new stuff. And if you want to support Fractal Fly, you can do so by talking about it around you and share this video. This will help a lot. So thank you for watching and see you soon. Bye.